If you've ever seen two people fighting, which most of us have, then you can say that things usually get pretty intense. But have you ever caught video of two animals that absolutely despise each other locked up in a battle? It's insane. Like tigers and bears, or better yet, crocodiles and hippos. Take a ride with us today as we discuss 10 animals that hate each other. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to The Supreme, and click the notification bell for more lit content. Let's get rolling. Snakes and gators. Humans are the only animal that kill for sport. So whenever you see a pair of animals fight to death out in the wild, then that's usually for one of two reasons. One of them was hungry, or one, if not both of them, was defending itself from a threat. Reptiles and alligators are two animals that can both reach massive sizes, but more than that, they both are similar hunters with similar diets. For the most part, gators are typically bigger and will usually get the upper hand in this dynamic showdown, but that doesn't mean that snakes don't sometimes come through with the upset. Cats and birds. Next up, we've got a pair of natural-born enemies who sometimes find themselves forced to live together as pets for us inconsiderate humans. Cats, for starters, are amazing hunters. That's why whenever you see a feral cat in your neighborhood, it probably doesn't look like it's missing any meals. Cats and birds are one of the first combinations of animals you'll see in any list about what not to pair together as a pet owner. Just a few years ago, in the state of New York, Jones Beach residents filed a lawsuit requesting for the federal government to physically remove a family of feral cats from the beach. Yet seriously, the issue was that the cats were feasting on and thus depleting an endangered bird species called the piping plover. Despite all of this, people still forego the warnings and combine these two mortal enemies under one roof, which usually leads to some pretty funny footage. Crocodiles and hippos. Let's travel out to the wild for our next entry as we now get to take a look at the relationship between Nile crocodiles and the hippopotamus. While crocodiles have the most powerful bite force on planet Earth, they're no match for the angrier, short-tempered, and much larger hippopotamus. The hefty hippos, whose closest relative are the whale, are about the only things on Earth that strike fear into the heart of a crocodile, so much so that baby hippos can sometimes roam free in croc-infested areas without fearing anything at all. The Nile crocs of Africa are super aggressive, except for when it comes to the hippo. In these parts of Africa, crocodiles are super dangerous and are reportedly responsible for 300 to 400 human attacks per year. But these animals are still not the most dangerous creatures in the area. That, of course, is the hungry hippo. Lions versus hyenas. Lions and hyenas disrespect each other in the highest fashion imaginable by sometimes practicing infanticide, the practice of capturing and eating the young of the opposite species. Heavy, right? While these two different groups of carnivores, who often cross each other's paths in Africa, are complete and utter enemies, they do share some similarities. For starters, they're both pack hunters. Groups of lions are called prides, while groups of hyenas are called clans. They also prey on the same types of food, which undoubtedly leads to some pretty tense confrontations. While a lion is 3 to 4 times the size of a hyena and will likely take a meal out of a small clan's mouth, a solitary lion can easily be chased off of his own kill if a large enough clan of hyenas enters the area. And when lions and hyenas go at it, it can be a bloodbath. Cats and rodents. So, a few minutes ago we talked about how cats and birds don't usually mix, and another animal that you should never think about caring for if you have a cat or two at home already is any kind of rodent. I guess now's the time to cue up that old Tom and Jerry cartoon. Now, I've never quite understood why people like taking care of mice, rats, gerbils, hamsters, and the like in the first place, but hey, who am I to judge? Now, On the flip side of all this, if you ever end up with an unwanted mouse in your house, then your pet cat is about as good a guard dog as, a good as guard cat imaginable. Cats have a natural born sense and ability to hunt. And what's even more is that they're really, really good at it. It's why you often can catch them preparing to pounce at just about, anything. So rodents, the way they smell, the way they move, the way they taste, hey, I'm talking about for the cat here, are perfect opportunities for cats to tap into their innate abilities. Now, of course, there are exceptions to every rule. Meet Galaxy and Bernie, the famous house cat and house rat combination that actually works. Cute, right? Don't get me wrong, this is hella creepy, but it's also kinda cute. Tiger vs. bear. In a few select areas around the world, tigers and bears coexist. Both apex predators are at the top of their own food chains, so whenever the two cross paths, things can get out of hand pretty quick. In Western India, a few years ago, footage went viral of a battle between an adult tiger and a sloth bear. Now, sloth bears aren't necessarily the big meat eaters like grizzlies and polar bears, but rather they're generally bug-eating creatures that like to feast on ants and termites. But that doesn't mean that they're a pushover either, especially when it comes to mothers defending their young. Sloth bears aren't the biggest bears in the world, but they can reach about 6 feet and weigh up to 300 pounds. They're recognized by their shaggy black coats and have very formidable claws on their front paws. Oh, and about those claws, the video is proof that the sloth bear knows how to use them. These videos represent two separate occasions of a sloth bear having to defend itself against a tiger. In one instance, the tiger literally attacked the bear out of nowhere, likely as part of a hunt. But the other video has a mother sloth protecting her young. Little did I know, the sloth bear in both videos did an amazing job fending off the huge feline and living to fight another day. Rabbits and guinea pigs. Up next, we've got a pair that you may not have known to have a particular disdain for each other, rats and guinea pigs. Now, it's natural to think, like I did, that these two animals are so similar that they just might, get along, right? Well, no, not exactly. Guinea pigs and bunny rabbits are both furry, herbivores, quiet, and pretty cute. But did you know that rabbits can actually be bullies to guinea pigs? For starters, anytime you have two different types of animals together, there's going to be a communication barrier. Animals don't naturally understand how to interact with creatures outside of their own species, and this can stress them out. Furthermore, rabbits can also try to mate the guinea pigs. That, simply isn't good for the guinea. Either way it goes, it's not the best idea to have these two animals living side by side in the same space. Cats and dogs. Okay, I swear, this is the last time we're gonna talk about common house cats today, period. But we couldn't do a list about animals that don't get along without highlighting the most obvious of all animal combinations, cats and dogs. Now, the interesting thing here is that you can find tons of videos out there highlighting the playful and, dare I say, affectionate relationship that many house cats and house dogs are engaged in. In fact, most of it is pretty comical. But of course, we all know that cats and dogs can be like brothers and sisters when they share the same owner, and like any good sibling rivalry, there's always a good amount of fisticuffs that take place. Now, here's where you guys can get interactive with us. If you're the owner of a dog and a cat, and you've got good footage of them duking it out at home, then share the link with us down in the comments. We'd love to see what you got. Hedgehog and fox. Another odd animal pairing that you may not be aware of, although I don't think we have to worry about people trying to house both of these guys as pets, is the hedgehog and the fox. Now, I've got to admit, the only reason we even included these creatures on today's list is because of the movie Sonic that just came out, which is based off of a video game where Sonic and Tails are best buds, and, a fox and a hedgehog. This pairing would likely never be acted out in real life, as foxes are the natural-born predators of hedgehogs. Well, at least a fox will definitely take a shot at eating a hedgehog who may be on its last leg, so to speak. Most times a fox will find food from somewhere else, but if the opportunity presents itself, then a fox will certainly try its luck by demolishing this cute little hedgehog. Though we should admit that most animals will try to steer clear of the smaller one because they don't want to entangle themselves with those sharp quills. Humans and wild predators. And last but certainly not least, the one animal that pretty much every single wild animal has a beef with, especially those wild animals that are predatory carnivores, are humans. If Joe Exotic's documentary on Netflix has told you anything, then wild animals such as tigers, bears, and lions are animals that should be left alone in the wild, and they absolutely despise human beings. Think about it. Us, as humans, have wiped out entire populations of animals due to our overhunting, deforestation, and simply everything else we do to ruin the environment of almost every single living thing here on Earth on a daily basis. The statistic about there being more captive tigers in the United States than there are wild tigers in the entire world is both astonishing and heartbreaking, and hopefully there's a real remedy out there somewhere for the sake of these captivating, magnificent beasts. That was 10 animals that hate each other. Pretty crazy combinations we had today, right? Which ones were your favorites? If you've got any questions, we'd love to hear about them in the comments. Thanks for hanging out with The Supreme. We'll see you soon.